Hey YouTube, I just wanted to do a quick video of an update for Jaxson. We had him in the emergency room about 2 weeks ago. It's the 1st of February now. 1st of February, it's just Monday before Valentine's Day. So anyway, my birthday's just around the corner. Yay! We had him in the emergency room, and the reason why is because I made a doctor's appointment for him with his pediatrician because he was pulling on his ears, so I thought he had an ear infection going on. When we get there, the pediatrician we saw is not his normal pediatrician, so that was kind of different. And then we go through the doctor's appointment, and she is not happy with how he was breathing. She looked at his ears, she saw some fluid in one of them. Saw some fluid in one of them and was not concerned with it. She was more concerned about how he was breathing. Me and my husband really didn't see it really wasn't any different than his normal, but she wanted to send us to the emergency room. So we go to leave, and I'm like, so I have to go home first before we head to the hospital? And she's like, well, why? And I'm like, I have a whole chicken in my roaster at home. It's about a 10-pound chicken. So we come home and pack up his stuff because we're not sure if he's going to be staying there or not, and it's just easier because the hospital that they send us to is where he was born. It's about 35 to 45 minutes away, depending on traffic and weather. So it can be longer depending on weather. So we packed up his stuff, and I packed up enough for just in case we had to do an overnight for him. And my mother works in the town that we needed to go to, and she hadn't even left work yet. So I gave her a call and said, hey, can you hang out for us just in case we need food? So she did. So she hung out in town with us, at the hospital with us when we first got there. So that was good. That was great that she was able to do that. And we get there and we go through, we actually have never been to that hospital for an emergency room setting, just for when I gave birth and his doctor's appointments that are at the same hospital. So we had to go on a different side. We kind of got lost of how to get to the emergency room, which is kind of sad because you would think, in an emergency room it should be easier accessed than the regular part of the hospital. But anyway, getting off topic a little bit. So we get there and they get him into the room. They check his O2 sat after being evaluated originally, not evaluated, insurance, going through that process. So they get him in there, and his O2 sat was like 89, I think, 88, 89, which they weren't happy about that, but that's the lowest that I have seen it myself. My furnace just kicked on. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. So they do that, and they also take a rectal temperature, and he has never, I don't think, has ever had a rectal temperature done unless it was at the hospital without me seeing it done. So the look he gave me was like, Ma, what are these people doing to me? It was just kind of funny. And I felt bad because I wouldn't want that done either. So they took that, and it was fine. It was normal. And then the doctor come in, and we got there right at shift change, which was not ideal, and it was not fun right at shift change because they did not know what was going on. The pediatrician called before we even got there, so you would think they'd have a good idea what was going on. So they gave him a nebulizer treatment of something that starts with a B, and it's a treatment that you can't get prescribed to you. It has to be administered in a hospital setting, so and be evaluated. He had to be monitored by medical personnel. So they gave him that, and within, I want to say, within 5 minutes, he had started to cough up some mucus and was really getting stuff up, which was great because he doesn't normally do that. Even when I do chest PT with him, with his epidural treatments, he doesn't really cough up the mucus. So, and that's what he needs to do to prevent lung infections. So, he started to cough up stuff, which was good. And we struggled to get him to sit still with a nebulizer because he's 7 months old. I mean, you try to strap a thing to a 7-month-old's face and say, sit there and don't move. So we had people, nurses and stuff coming in and out of the room, which was distracting him. If they would just left us alone and let us give him the nebulizer treatment, it would have been so much easier. But anyway, they gave him that, and then they also decided to do a swab for flu and croup. But I told it, like I said, he doesn't have the flu, he's not vomiting, he's not running a fever, he's fine. So they did that anyway, and that doesn't come back until the next day because it has to be sent off, which that tested negative. He did not have either one. And then they also did a chest x-ray. So the chest x-ray, we were wheeled out, both of us together. I was able to go with him. And the last time we were at the hospital for a chest x-ray, they put him in like a stirrup thing, and the tube come up around him. So I don't know how to explain it, but he was sitting here, like his legs on either side of the stirrup thing, sitting there. I had to hold him in place, and then from the bottom, this thing come up and clamped up around him. I had to wedge his arms up like this, and it clamped around his face, and it buckled at the very top to get a chest x-ray. It was some sort of medieval, like, contraption, and he had marks on his forehead for days after that, so that was a bad experience. But this time around, they let me just kind of hold his arms up. I held one hand, actually, and I think the tech held the other, and he's able to sit on his own, so it was way easier to do it that time around versus the contraption. So they took that, and that came back fine. There was he's got some fogginess in the very bottom of his lobes, but they didn't think it was any type of pneumonia or anything like that. So the doctor comes back into the room, and he's like, so I don't really understand why you're here. I'm like, well, the pediatrician told us to come in. He's like, right, but he has cystic fibrosis. So again, I really don't understand why you're here. So that was great and reassuring. So he ended up discharging us. On the discharge notes, it says that they sucked mucus out of him, which they did not do. And I actually talked to, I'm going to call his insurance company, because I don't want, if the hospital charged for that, they never did it. So anyway, that's another topic, insurance. So we ended up following up with his pediatrician, his normal pediatrician, the following day. And she believes that he may have allergies. So she did a referral to an allergist. I got that phone call today, and we don't see them until April. But at least we have an appointment to see if maybe he does have allergies. I have postnasal drip, and sometimes when I'm talking, you can hear it in my nose that I have some allergies going on. And I think you can hear that my voice has changed since I've been talking, and that's normal for me. It's been like that since I was a kid. So she did a referral for that to see if maybe he has some stuff going on like I do. And we also followed up with his clinic, but his pediatrician also thinks it's something to do with his teething, maybe the swelling of this, plus he possibly has some allergies. So the combination of the two is causing some issues for him to breathe a little different. So we followed up with his pediatrician and his Dr. Lever, which is his clinic, and his other doctors that are in there. So at clinic, though, I wasn't happy because we were there for follow-up, but one, his respiratory therapist was not there. And two, I think somebody else wasn't there too, and I don't remember which one it was. The geneticist was not there. So you would think for the respiratory part, struggling to breathe, that he would see the respiratory therapist, but he wasn't there. So we have another doctor's appointment next month to follow up with how the new treatment's going. So they prescribed him at clinic a new nebulizer treatment. So I'll put it in around here somewhere, or I'll leave it in the drop-down box of how it's spelt, but it's Paula something. And it's a refrigerated nebulizer treatment, so it has to stay in the refrigerator until I'm going to use it. What I do is administer it to him. About a half an hour, 45 minutes later, we start his chest PT. And that the nebulizer treatment is to help break up what is in his lungs. How the doctor just described it to me is because, okay, there's mucus in his lungs, and that mucus carries germs. The germs, you know, are kind of down in there doing their thing, and our bodies, or his body, is sending cells to that area to try to fight off those germs. Well, when those cells are there, they start to dissolve and deteriorate and die, and when they do, they unravel and leave what's left behind. So he thinks that in his lungs that it's mixing with mucus and it's just bunching up in there. So this nebulizer is to go in there and try to break that kind of stuff up enough so that he can cough it out. So yeah, that's where we are with that. We are actually waiting for his tubing to come in because he has a regular face mask, but they want a side flow. I don't know what that is because we haven't got it yet. I'm waiting for the prescription to be filled. So he has not had this nebulizer. We just got it yesterday. I'm waiting for the tubing. So they said, I talked to his clinic this morning, and they said I can give it to him with the regular face mask, but it works better with the side flow one. So yeah, we're waiting for that. I think that is it. I said this was going to be a quick update, so I just really want to give you guys an update of what goes on with him and everything, because I know there's a lot of parents out there or families out there that don't know what cystic fibrosis is and don't know how extensive the care is, especially for a new mom. I had no idea. And a friend of mine, actually, her son was diagnosed, I want to say he's 6, and he was diagnosed when he was a baby, and I really had no idea what she went through. So I now have a whole new respect for her and what she went through. So I just really wanted to make these videos to let you guys know that it is difficult, and what you see these kids that are diagnosed with certain things, and they look healthy. They don't look like there's anything wrong, but the home life is a lot different than, your home life. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update and let you guys know how he's doing and what's going on and his new meds. So if you guys like these videos, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. It helps out us out. I am a stay-at-home mom. So I do make a little bit of money off of YouTube, but not enough. I've made a whopping like $10, something like that. So if you like and subscribe, you can share our videos. We'd appreciate it. If you have any questions, my email is down in the drop bar, and I will get back to you. And I do have people that message me through YouTube, and I do get back to you. I try to answer everybody. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we love you. Thanks for watching. So I just filmed, and I'm going to add this on to the end of the video. This is what it's doing in Maine today. It's snowing. We haven't had that great of a winter so far, but it's snowing today. It snowed all night last night, and there was quite a few inches out there. It's just a light snow. I don't know if you guys can really see it. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see the snowflakies. There we go. You can see it a little better now. That's the main road. Traffic goes by here about 60, 65. But anyway, these are some dog houses that my stepdad made, and they're out there by the road for sale. That's my little garden. I'm in Jackson's bedroom. But yeah, that's my winterized garden. This is the front of the house, my big tree that's on the front yard. But anyway, again, thanks for watching, guys.